Hey everyone, in this tutorial, well it'll actually be a series of tutorials um, that we will get into programming a web application, and this web application that we are going to be programming is just going to be a calculator in HTML5 and JavaScript. Um, and you want to start out with your index.html file, of course, declared as HTML5, opening tags, closing tags, all the necessary things that you need. You want to do your UTF-8 and go ahead and set your viewport. I always set it to user scalable equals null because there's no reason why people need to zoom in on my calculator. And initial scale equals 1. And of course you want your CSS document, and I went ahead and named my title HTML5 Calculator because that's what we are programming. And then I went ahead and put a main tag because this is what our application is going to exist in, is the main tag. In your CSS document, you want to reset a lot of the CSS. You can actually find this by going to Google and typing CSS reset, and it'll be the first website, and it just removes some of the styling that is not needed that comes by default in browsers. And it also displays HTML5 tags as blocks, so it'll render properly in older browsers. And the script is going to be in another video, so we won't focus on that for now. So let's go ahead and start with our body. I'm going to set my background color to black and my font to Arial. And then we can go ahead and style our main tag. In this one, we are going to put it as absolute, top 0, left to 0, width 100%, and height 100%. What this actually does is it fills our page with this container. So if I went ahead and named it background color, or give it a color of red, it'll fill the entire page. Now if we just take that off, it'll only display black because that's what the body tag is. And you of course can scroll, but I always like to apply this styling also to my body tags. Alright, so we are going to be programming our website with Flex. And Flex, it helps you create fluid websites much easier than it used to be. Used to have to use percentages. Now you don't have to use percentages. You can use Flex. So we will go ahead and display our main as a Flex box. I'm not going to be use vendor prefixes because this lesson is only focusing on the application creation. Oh, and we will be converting this application to an HTML5 app, and I will show you how to do that in a later lesson. Alright, so we display this as a Flexbox. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and put a couple divs in here. That would be the screen. I think about 5 would, I think 4 will do actually. No, 5, we'll do 5. We may have to remove one, I'm not sure, I don't remember. And obviously these aren't styled, so they aren't going to look like anything. So go ahead and style those divs. And what we want to do is say flex, because there's 5, we'll do 5. And just so we can see it, let's put an outline on it. Now as you can see, these are all in columns. We want to switch them to row. So sometimes you forget which things we need to use. So a good resource to look at a lot of times is CSS Tricks. I use that quite often. and we can, there you go, flex direction, that's what we need. So in the parent container, we will want to change that to column, I believe, and let's see how that looks. There you go. Now our buttons will go in here. And let's move on. Now we want to do the same thing. We are going to have 4 buttons in each column. First one is actually going to be for, that's a comment for our JavaScript. The first column is going to be our screen. This is where our calculations will be performed, or displayed, rather. And then, so let's put 4 divs in each box. Then you want to go in your style sheet, and again, style those elements. Now what you want to do is display each column as a flex again. But this time, display them as a row. And of course there is 4 boxes in each one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And now we got all of our boxes that we need for our calculator app. Obviously we're not going to leave those lines, we are going to be replacing them with something else. Alright, and let's go ahead and put in some of our numbers. So we'll just put 0 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, one thing I forgot to do is change the color of our fonts. Let's change it to a light gray. And there's our numbers. Actually, let's change them to white, why not? We can change it later if we really want to. Alright. So far it's not too hard, it's pretty basic. See how Flexbox allows you to make such a reasonably advanced layout in just a few simple lines of code. Alright, so as you can see, we need our text justified in the middle. We don't want it in the upper left, and we need it to be exactly in the middle no matter what font size we use, because in a future lesson we will be programmatically resizing the fonts based on our screen resolution. So let's go ahead and justify content, center, and flex flow column wrap. I think that should do it. Oh, no. Did it wrong. It definitely doesn't work. Sorry, you want to display it as a flex also. That's why it wasn't working. And you want to text align center, and there you go, you have aligned text in the center, vertically and horizontally. So now, no matter what size you make it, it's always going to be aligned in the center. Yeah. Alright. Now let's make this look a little bit better. We'll put a background color of 393939, and let's go ahead and take off our outlines because they're ugly, and just put a border of 5 pixels on each side that is black, so it'll look like they're all black and evenly spaced. That's a little intense. Let's switch it to 2. Yeah, looks pretty good so far. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and add some of our operators we are going to give the user the ability to use while they're programming, or using the calculator, I should say. We got our decimal point, and we got our equal sign. We got our plus. Actually, let's put our equals here and our plus here. I don't know if this is how you would actually put the numbers in the correct spot, but you can do what you want. It's your program. And we'll do multiply. And let's see if I can remember what the character entity code is for divide. And if that is divide, looks like a plus because of the font, but once it gets larger, maybe we can see what sans serif looks like. And yeah, let's just stick with sans serif. Here, so far we have the layout of our calculator. So let's go ahead and add some class names so we can style some of this more correctly. So let's go ahead and give this a class of operator, so we can give it a different background color. And let's go in here. And let's give it a darker background color, obviously. Well, not obviously, that's just what I prefer. And that looks pretty good, I'd say. Pretty darn good. Alright, I believe that is completion of our first episode so far, but hold on, there is one thing I want to do. Something that would be kind of good to do. We will eventually replace this with touch start in JavaScript, because touch start is a lot faster than a mouse event in CSS or JavaScript. But we want to eventually, when the user clicks the button, to go ahead and perform some kind of a transform on it. So the one I think would look cool is just kind of downscale it a little bit. And that's a little intense, so let's just go ahead and increase that to 0.9. Alright. So far we have a pretty good looking application here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. And, oops, one last thing. Let's change the font size, or font size of our operators. We'll just say 1.5 EM for now. Let's see how that looks. Looks good. Let's see if font weight does anything for us. Not really, because it's kind of a thick font. Anyway, if you don't like this font or any of the web-safe fonts, you can actually go to a place like fontsquirrel.com and actually find a font that you think looks pretty good and download it. Alright, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe and point other people this direction because we will get into a lot more cool stuff. Like the vibration API because I think it would be cool to get some kind of a feedback from the device based on clicking the buttons.